You have aligned yourself with a man who has bashed women, made countless racist remarks, and you're Ben Carson. Why would you align yourself with that?
Hey everyone. So you just saw a little taste of what we're about to dive into, and honestly, it just boils my blood. That was from The View, and it features Dr. Ben Carson defending his endorsement of Donald Trump. From that snippet alone, you can see what I mean when I say these hosts, especially Whoopi, just do not want to hear anything that doesn't fit their pre-approved narrative. It's truly something else. This isn't about having a discussion. It's about lecturing and shutting down anyone who dares to think differently. Dr. Carson, a brilliant surgeon and thoughtful man, is constantly being talked over and dismissed simply because he has a perspective that challenges their echo chamber. It's painful to watch, but it's important to see how these conversations really go down in mainstream media. So buckle up, hit that like button if you're tired of biased media, subscribe for more unfiltered takes, and make sure to stick around after we watch the full video, because I've got a lot more to say about what we're about to witness. Let's get into it.
Please welcome to Hot Topics, Dr. Ben Carson. Hey. So I'm sure you get this question a lot, but why did you endorse Donald Trump?
Well, you know, when I dropped out, my first choice went with me. But I said that...
It was you,
I was going to remain neutral. But then I realized that, the political establishment was aligning to protect their turf. And they don't like the ideal of people who are not beholden to them and who cannot be controlled coming into Washington, D.C. And that was one of the reasons they didn't like me very much, but I was easier to get rid of than Donald Trump.
Sir, I hate to ask this question, but you have aligned yourself with a man who has bashed women, made countless racist remarks, and you're Ben Carson. Why would you align yourself with that?
Well, you have to look at the good and the bad. There is no perfect person.
No, I know that.
But you look at when Donald Trump first went down to Palm Beach area, and a lot of the clubs down there would not accept Jews and blacks. He insisted on Jews and blacks and helped to break that open. So has he said some things that I wouldn't say or that you wouldn't say? Of course.
But he was also sued by the Justice Department in the 70s for not allowing black tenants into his properties, and he settled with the Justice Department, even though he didn't admit any liability, any wrongdoing. It's very clear to those of us in the law that that means that there was something amiss, and it was a significant consent decree. So the notion that he is a fan of the African-American community, I think is...
Well, I will put it this way. I have met a lot of his employees, including African-Americans, and they have nothing but good things to say. Somebody who's hired as many people as he has hired, and you can find very few people who have anything negative to say.
Well, what about
then you have to look at his family. I always say one of the ways that you measure a person is looking at their children. And how do their children act?
Well, one's a big game hunter. I'm not thrilled with that.
Well, I mean, that's your privilege. Yeah. But the fact of the matter is, they have been raised very well. They're very respectful. And, I look at a lot of kids who come from very wealthy families, and I am appalled at what I see. So there is no perfect person, but what I think is really the worst thing that threatens our nation right now is a political class, a ruling class, and they are so threatened by anybody who is not beholden to them, they will do virtually anything. And I think that's what's likely to destroy.
You could say that till the cows come home, sir. This guy is, I'm sorry, he's a racist, and he's not good for the country.
What's the alternative?
And I'm sorry, I don't understand. He's not said about the white supremacists. He hasn't really said to them, hey, listen, that's not what America stands for. He said, it's too much. You're Ben Carson. You're so much better than this.
Well, I am Ben Carson. And that's the very reason I'm doing this, is because I look at the big picture. Could I focus only on racial issues? Absolutely. Could I focus only on women's issues? Absolutely. I could look at any one little thing and pick anybody apart on it. But right now, the nature of our country is at stake. We are on the precipice.
Exactly what we're
and
worried about.
we are determining what kind of nation we're going to be. Are we going to be a nation that's upformed by the people or upformed by the government? This is a choice that we are making right now.
Okay, if you're going to overlook what he says about women, if you're going to overlook what he says about African Americans, what about what he said about you? He basically said that you had a pathological disease. Wait a minute, hold on. He even compared you to a child molester. Come on.
Well,
it could be personal, even.
If it were about me, I would be offended. But it's about America. We have to save this nation. That is what's important.
But he's a liar. Unless you say that you're a child molester, he's a liar. Do you want a liar for the presidency?
Tell me a politician who doesn't tell lies.
Abraham Lincoln. I don't know.
A current day politician.
But the lying that he does is continuous. It's on a regular basis.
Well, again,
Fact check goes berserk when he talks. He's got a long Pinocchio nose.
What I have to do is look at who is most likely to oppose the ruling class that is ruining our country.
Yeah, well,
who is likely?
In the ruling class.
Who is likely?
He is the ruling class.
He said that there would be room for you in his cabinet, in his administration. Did he make any promises to you, and is that behind your endorsement?
No, not at all. And in fact, you know, we agreed that we want to save this nation, particularly for the next generation, and talked about a variety of ways to do it. I'm continuing to work on mechanisms of presenting ladders of opportunity that will allow the downtrodden in our society to climb out of a state of dependency. Right now, the programs that have been put forth by both Democrats and Republicans for the last few decades are doing nothing but creating more dependency. We've gone from a can-do nation to a what can you do for me nation.
Ask you this. And I wanted to follow up. You talked about the endorsement. Was anything promised to you, and what role do you see yourself in?
No, nothing was promised, nor would I accept anything. You know, the fact of the matter is, my interest all along, even in running for president, is to save this country for the next generation. And, you know,
what role would that be in the Trump administration?
Very deeply at how that is going to be done. And I'm going to be working on health care, going to be working on education, which is an incredibly important part of a vibrant society. If you look at our military right now, you take people between the ages of 17 and 24 who are applying to the voluntary military, 71% are rejected. 71%.
Based on?
Physical, mental, or educational deficits, educational being by far the biggest. It is putting us at risk as a nation, not fixing our educational system. These are things that need to be worked on, things that I've discussed with Donald Trump. But also, I have to look at everybody who's available. And, you know, Case is just not going to make it.
I love Kasich.
Okay? He's not going to make it, okay?
He's still there. Some people aren't. They're still there.
Anyway.
Right. Cruz is not going to be able to draw people from the middle or the other side of the aisle.
True.
And you look at the number of people from everywhere who are coming for Trump. I mean, record numbers of people.
Yeah.
I don't believe the polls. The polls are used to manipulate people.
Okay, but okay, so I'm learning a lot about politics on this show, so this is what I know. Right now, we're talking about what if there is a brokered convention, right? And what would the alternative candidate be? Because in the pool, Paul Ryan and other people are being talked about.
Right.
Do you really think that Trump is correct in saying that people will, you know, be up in arms, quote unquote, riot, he said that, if they did not choose him as the nominee?
I don't think that there would be a physical riot, but I think it would absolutely destroy the Republican Party. There is no way that people who are coming in droves now to support Trump enthusiastically are just going to say, oh, well, whoever you pick is going to be fine.
Is that responsible of him to say, you know, they'll be rioting? I mean, sort of throw gasoline on the fire like that? Is that responsible?
That's really not the point. I mean, we can look.
But what's the point?
Well, no, we can look at all these things that politicians and people in the political sphere say.
Yeah.
Or we can say, what are the true issues? It's sort of like what's going on with some of these rallies. where, you know, we've seen some violence.
All of his antics are covering over the true issues. That's the problem. His antics are covering over the true issues.
Right, the true issue is the First Amendment of America and the freedom of speech. And we need to be looking at those kinds of issues. Everybody needs to be looking at those issues, not just one side or the other side. And the fact of the matter is, when you look at these rallies that are going on, do you ever see that happening in a Clinton or Bernie Sanders rally?
They're not promoting. Why not?
No, you don't.
Why not?
Why not?
Because people on the right don't do that. People on the left do that.
And people on the left don't say, you know, go punch him if you want to, or take him out on a stretcher. I haven't heard that on the left.
Yeah, but you're missing my point.
What's your point?
What is the point?
What is it?
You're missing the point. The point is that we have to focus on the things that are essential to America, like First Amendment rights, not personalities. That's the problem. We always want to focus on personalities.
But you've met with Donald Trump behind closed doors. Have you seen any evidence that he's really not the bombastic, sort of baiting personality?
You said there were the two.
Are there two Donald Trumps?
There are.
Yeah. Well, which one is running for president? Which one?
Who have you seen? Tell us who you have seen.
Well, I have seen a man who's actually willing to sit down and engage in deep, serious conversations about the problems that affect our country.
Well, why is he holding out on America?
I have seen a man who actually recognizes that he doesn't know everything.
And he doesn't think that's going to work in his election if he shows that side of him? Or is that more of like a male thing I have to show? Yeah, is that more of a male thing?
I think you're going to see more of that side of him coming up.
So he might be,
did you notice in the last...
He might be fooling his own constituency.
Did you notice in the last debate that he wasn't nearly as bombastic?
Yes.
Did you notice that?
I did.
That means he's transitioning now into general election.
But sir, you know,
I think you're going to continue to see that.
I'm sorry.
But again, there's no perfect person.
So, no, there isn't a perfect person, but if you're running for president of the United States of America, a country which has said to other countries, bring me the folks that you need who need freedom. We're here for you. When you talk about Mexicans being rapists and murderers, when you talk to women, if he had spoken to your wife the way he's spoken to some of these women, would you take that, sir?
Let me tell you something. When you're very nice, you're very respectful, you talk about the real issues and not get into all these issues, where does it get you? It gets you where it got me. Nowhere, okay?
No, so is that what this is about?
No,
it can't be about that.
No, but here's my point. My point is he and some of the other politicians, they do what people want. They say what people want to hear. They appeal to people.
That's how Hitler got in, sir. That's how Hitler got in.
Yeah,
but you were a voice. You were, okay.
And it's an important voice, and it needs to be out there. But what we have to do is recognize that we have to work with what we have, not necessarily with what we ideally would want. And we, the people, are largely responsible. We have to be willing to stand up for what we believe, the people of the United States, because the politicians will respond to that.
This is true. So
Alright, so we've just watched the full interview, and honestly, if that doesn't showcase the absolute state of political discourse on The View, I don't know what does. Dr. Ben Carson, a man of incredible intellect and integrity, walked into what can only be described as a lion's den, and he handled it with more grace and patience than any of those hosts deserved. From the very beginning, Whoopi Goldberg wasn't interested in understanding why Dr. Carson endorsed Trump. She was only interested in condemning it. She immediately came at him with accusations about Trump's past statements, as if Dr. Carson wasn't aware of them or hadn't thought through his decision. It just goes to show how narrow-minded and ignorant they are to assume everyone thinks like them. They can't fathom a nuanced perspective. Then when Sonny Hostin brought up that old housing discrimination lawsuit, trying to paint Trump as a racist, Dr. Carson calmly countered with actual experience. He talked about meeting Trump's employees, including African Americans, who had nothing but good things to say. And his point about how a good way to measure a person is to look at their children, that's a classic, sensible approach. But did The View hosts want to hear it? Of course not. Joy Behar's interjection about Trump lying was just another desperate attempt to derail the conversation, and Carson's simple question, "Tell me a politician who doesn't tell lies," completely exposed the hypocrisy. They just want to bash Trump, not have a real discussion about the complexities of politics. Carson tried to introduce the idea of two Donald Trumps, suggesting that Trump's bombastic public persona might be a strategy, but again, the hosts just couldn't process it. Their minds are so made up they can't even consider that there might be more to a person than the sound bites they dislike. It's not about seeking truth, it's about confirming their biases. But then he tried to pivot to what he believes are the real issues, the things that genuinely threaten our nation, like the political class threatening America. But the hosts, particularly Whoopi, just kept harping on personality and insults. It's like they thrive on outrage rather than substance. They genuinely seem incapable of seeing the bigger picture, constantly dragging the conversation back to petty grievances. His concerns about a brokered convention and the real risks it posed to the Republican Party were completely valid and pragmatic. He's thinking strategically about the future of a political movement, while the hosts are, once again, focused on tearing down individuals. Then we got to the violence at Trump rallies. Dr. Carson, trying to bring a constitutional perspective, spoke about First Amendment rights and how protesters were infringing on them and how the media was framing it. And what do you get from The View? More interruptions, more blame directly on Trump, and a complete unwillingness to consider any other angle. They literally said, people on the right don't do that, people on the left do that. That's not just biased, it's a completely ignorant and self-serving statement that ignores historical context and present realities. Finally, Dr. Carson delivered a powerful message about why he continues to support Trump. He highlighted that being very nice and respectful and talking about real issues often gets you nowhere in politics. He basically said that Trump gets things done because he's willing to do what others aren't. And that's exactly what the hosts on The View don't get. They want a polite, milquetoast politician who doesn't ruffle feathers, even if it means nothing ever changes. Dr. Carson is trying to save the nation, to address the core issues of healthcare, education, and dependency. He's looking at what's essential to America, like First Amendment rights, while Whoopi and her co-hosts are stuck in a loop of personal attacks and outrage. They confuse loud, performative indignation for actual substance, and it frankly makes them look unbelievably ignorant and out of touch with what real Americans care about. They are part of the problem, constantly dividing and focusing on trivialities instead of solutions. It's infuriating to watch such brilliant minds be so willfully blind. What do you all think? Let me know in the comments below. Did Dr. Carson handle this perfectly, or were you as frustrated as I was with the constant interruptions and personal attacks from The View panel?